What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Paul with another Silver Age Grail call for Liberty Hill Comics. If you are new to the channel, welcome! I have over 40 years experience collecting comics, and I share my experience and passion for comic book collecting, investing, and conservation here on the channel. This box apparently lost a fight with a postal worker, but let's see how the contents did. Today we're opening another very special comic, an early Silver Age mega key that has got to be considered a blue chip investment grade book. Compared to other Silver Age mega keys, it is more difficult to find, especially in high grade. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you and seeing it for myself. While I open this box up, I want to thank you all for joining me today. And if you enjoy the video, please take a few seconds to give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. And remember, in appreciation of subscribers, new and old, I'm currently running a free subscriber giveaway. All you need to do for a chance to win this awesome slabbed first appearance of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is be subscribed, follow the link over to that video, and leave a comment there. Good luck! Looks like this book survived the shipping debacle, and the slab is in good shape. So, what is it, and why do we care? This is Brave and the Bold number 28, from March of 1960, written by Gardner Fox and illustrated by Mike Sekowsky, with inks on the cover here by Murphy Anderson. It's the first appearance of the Justice League of America, the brainchild of editor Julius Schwartz, the father of the Silver Age of comic books. It's graded by CGC as Universal 3.0 with cream to off-white pages. It is a faded copy, and if not for the fading and the tanning of the pages, this book would certainly be a 4.0. It's really beautiful, and I'm thrilled to have a copy of this book in any grade. To put this book in perspective, you have to understand the end of the Golden Age and what led to the revival of superhero comic books that became known as the Silver Age. In the period immediately following World War II, superhero comics did not sell well. Nearly all of the superhero comics were removed from the newsstand by the end of the decade of the 40s, simply for failing to make their publishers any money. By 1950, the only superhero comic solo titles being published were what we call today DC's Big Three: Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. DC had anthologies that featured a few superhero stories other than the Big Three, and Aquaman and Green Arrow were still being published regularly, just not in their own titles. War, horror, sci-fi, and funny books all survived to one degree or another, although the publication of The Seduction of the Innocent and the resulting fervor essentially wiped out horror comics by 1954. After a hiatus of nearly a decade, superhero comic books began returning to the marketplace, which sparked what we now refer to as the Silver Age of comics. Most collectors recognize the relaunch of The Flash with a new identity and a new sci-fi origin in October 1956 by Julius Schwartz, Robert Kanigher, and Carmine Infantino to be the first comic book of the Silver Age. But the Silver Age did not spring forth fully formed like Athena from Zeus's head. In fact, showcase issues 5, 6, and 7 didn't even feature the Flash, as DC waited for sales figures back from issue 4 to see if they could even market any superheroes other than the Big Three in the mid-50s. But superheroes did come back, slowly at first. Next up was a new-look Green Lantern in October of 1959 in Showcase Comics number 22, and then in an avalanche of relaunched and new heroes culminating for DC in the relaunch of the Justice Society of America, renamed by Julius Schwartz the Justice League of America, in this book, Brave and the Bold number 28, from March of 1960. Emboldened by DC's success, Marvel joined the fray with the publication of Fantastic Four #1 in November of 1961 from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and Spider-Man in Amazing Fantasy #15 in August of 1962 from Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and the rest is Silver Age history. In fact, the story goes that Martin Goodman, Stan Lee's wife's cousin and publisher of Atlas Comics, before it was called Marvel Comics, was golfing with an executive from National Comics. That is what DC Comics was called in those days. And the DC executive told him that he had just seen the sales figures for Justice League, and it was a huge success. As the story goes, Martin raced back to the office to tell Stan to start pumping out superhero books because they were all the rage again. At the time, Atlas Comics wasn't publishing a single superhero book. This sent Stan soul-searching, because according to his bio, he didn't want to continue putting out the same drivel, and in fact was prepared to quit the comic book biz just when Martin Goodman ordered him to fire up the superhero stories. According to Stan, it was his wife Joan who suggested, rather than quit, that he give it one more go, but that he write the comics his way, the way he'd always wanted to do it, suggesting that the worst that could happen is it would be a huge failure and he'd be fired, but then he was going to quit anyway, so he may as well take a chance. He did Fantastic Four #1 with Jack Kirby his way, with more realistic heroes with feet of clay, and followed up with Tales to Astonish 27, Incredible Hulk 1, Amazing Fantasy 15, Journey into Mystery 83, Tales of Suspense 39, and ultimately Marvel's own Justice League, who the Wasp named the Avengers in Avengers #1. So, without Brave and the Bold 28 here, we don't have the Marvel Age, we don't get the MCU. This book is ground floor for the development of the Silver Age and ultimately Marvel's, and now Disney's, success in the box office. Brave and the Bold 28 has been recognized as one of the most important Silver Age comics for decades. It's routinely one of the top 5 to 10 books of the Silver Age by fair market value, in part because it's approximately 2 times more rare than Fantastic Four #1 and 3 times more rare than Amazing Fantasy 15. Brave and the Bold 28 follows the old formula for Justice Society of America. In fact, the only reason Julius didn't call it the Justice Society is that he felt society was an old-fashioned name for old people, and that young people of 1960 wanted something that implied more action. He thought sports heroes all played in leagues, and Justice League sounded more action-oriented and exciting to the youth of 1960. The story opens with a splash page roll call in the style of the old Justice Society stories in All-Star Comics. The roll includes Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, Flash, and John Jones. We learn later that Flash is the chairman. This is not an origin story for the Justice League. We start the story with the Justice League fully functional and presumed to have been in operation for some time, as they have a defined membership, communication, headquarters, chairman, protocols, etc. The story proper opens with Peter the Pufferfish alerting Aquaman of a menace from the stars, a giant starfish that fell to the ocean and recruited 3 terrestrial starfish, imbued them with its power, and sent them off with nefarious tasks that Peter overheard and relayed to Aquaman. Aquaman uses the communication device in his belt to summon the Justice League. We get establishing shots of each of the members, giving us a little of what they were doing in their non-JLA time, and learn that Superman and Batman are unavailable because they're each involved in time-sensitive emergencies of their own. The 5 available members of the JLA meet at headquarters, and, as chairman, Flash hands out the assignments in the fashion of an old issue of All-Star. Green Lantern tackles one starfish solo, Wonder Woman and John Jones go after another, Flash assigns one to himself, and asks Aquaman to patrol the oceans and ensure that Starro recruits no additional starfish. As you can see from this half-splash page to Chapter 2, Mike Sekowsky's art is phenomenal in this issue of Brave and the Bold. I'm not always a fan of his art. I think sometimes it's a little stiff, but he really has taken pride in dynamic layouts here and tremendous detail, and was clearly given ample time to complete this entire story, as nothing looks rushed. He's inked by a team of skilled craftsmen varying by chapter, and even so, Murphy Anderson's inks on the Flash chapter stand out to my eye as phenomenal. All the inkers contribute to a very polished and cohesive look. The colorist is uncredited and still unknown to this day, but did a phenomenal job of creating a bright, vibrant look that complements the line art. In his chapter, Green Lantern saves a U.S. Air Force bomber from Starro's minion and uses his ring to restore the starfish to normal power and size, but not until after it had pulled an atomic bomb from the aircraft, exploded it, and consumed all the energy from the blast. Wonder Woman and John Jones similarly have to save a haul of scientists from their starfish, and succeed in doing so and in subduing their starfish, but again, not until after it had probed the minds of the scientists for information and relayed that information back to Starro. The Flash's chapter introduces Snapper Carr, the hip young kid who is immune to the starfish's mind control powers. Flash similarly must save the townspeople of Happy Harbor and defeats his starfish, but not before it conveyed to Starro that he can control human minds. Flash takes Snapper with him to the final showdown with Starro, believing that Snapper's immunity to the mind control may be the solution to defeating Starro. While the team battles Starro, Flash instructs Green Lantern to analyze Snapper for possible reasons he was immune to Starro's mind control. He had just finished fertilizing his family's lawn and had lime residue on his body. Deducting that this is what gave him immunity and that it may be Starro's weakness, the team collects some bags of lime and coats Starro in them, thus defeating Starro. Snapper is awarded an honorary membership and given a JLA belt to summon the team should he ever need them. There are a mere 1,251 universal copies of Brave and the Bold number 28 in the CGC Census, with a median grade of 4.0. That's not a lot of copies in the market for such an important book. A 3.0 has a fair market value of $3,100, with an all-time record high of $3,181 plus shipping and taxes. One of the reasons I like these mega key books for long-term investment is that it just hasn't been hit that hard by the bear market in comic books over the last year and a half. It's essentially at its record high, because blue chip assets this sought after will generally always have buyers stepping in when the market falters. I recently won this copy at auction. I was high bidder after 49 bids, last man standing at $2,013, well below the fair market value on this book today. I think this particular copy sold at a discount to the grade generally because it is faded and has cream to off-white pages. There is some subjectivity here, and you need to buy the book, not the grade. I made a conscious decision to purchase a faded book at the extreme low end of the fair market value for this particular asset. But it's still an upgrade to the raw copy I own, which is approximately a 2.0 and not very structurally sound. I'm happy to have an upgraded copy and will look to sell my 2.0 to partially finance my purchase of this 3.0. This book is for my personal collection, and a 3.0 for this book is nothing to slouch at, But should the opportunity present itself for me to again acquire a higher grade copy at or below fair market value, I'll happily take it, and I'll pass this copy on to another collector. This book will always be in demand, and I can continue to upgrade my copy over time as the opportunity presents itself. This is one way to upgrade your collection by buying books on the low end of the fair market value range, and when you find a higher grade copy, flipping them when the nicer ones come your way. I hope you enjoyed this video on this early Silver Age mega key. Anyone else out there own Brave and the Bold 28 or hunting for it? Any JLA fans out there? What did you think of the Flash solo movie? Do you think buying this admittedly faded 3.0 copy at the extreme low end of fair market value for a 3.0 is a sound investment strategy, or was it just a dumb idea? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, happy hunting and take care of one another.